Hello everyone, my name is M. Ignore my voice because I am homesick today, so my voice is going to sound very bad, but I've been wanting to do one of these for a long time. This happened to come across my recommended feed, or at least a video replying to this video came across my feed, so I found the original, and I'm going to see if I can answer these 10 questions that every atheist should be able to answer, because I am an atheist, so therefore, theoretically, I should be able to answer these questions. I'd be willing to bet I'm probably going to be able to answer them, so let's take a look.
Question 10. Why doesn't man have a natural predator?
Weapons. That's literally it. Weapons. Like, not only that, but just because we don't have anything that we would consider a natural predator doesn't mean that there aren't other animals in the animal kingdom that that can't kill us. Like, without weapons, we would not be able to go up against, bears, mountain lions, things like that. So at least not the average person anyway. And I live near mountains, so we have bears, we have mountain lions. In fact, they've been spotted in the lowlands where I live, or at least the mountain lions have. I don't know if we've seen any bears down here, but just because something isn't technically classified as a natural predator of humanity doesn't mean that they can't still kill us. If we did not have the technological advances and the weaponry that we did have, we would have more natural predators. We would probably have died out a long time ago. So, tools and weapons, that's your answer right there. Next question.
Question 9. Where is man's natural environment or habitat?
Wherever the hell we want. What the hell kind of question is that? We're roaming apes. We settle wherever we want, and generally it's going to be around, areas of, natural resources, like water. Mostly water is where we originally tended to settle until we had the tools to build things to carry water with us. So, our natural environment is wherever the hell we want. Just because we build buildings and cities and things like that doesn't mean it's unnatural. There are other animals that build structures, like the bowerbird, for example. They build structures. Us building cities does not make it unnatural. Artificial, yeah, sure, but it's just what we've evolved to do. We build things. Tools are not new. Hominoid species have been building things and using tools for literally millions of years. We are not the first species to do these kinds of things. So I don't understand where the confusion is on this question. Next question.
Question 8. Why does man adapt the environment to himself and not adapt to the environment naturally?
Tools and weaponry. We already went over this in the first question. We do it because we can. And because it makes it... Oh, let me try that again. Because it makes things easier for us. That is adapting. We have adapted to make things easier for ourselves through tools. Just because we're not adapting to the environment like you think in a naturalistic evolutionary sense doesn't mean we're not adapting. We're adapting, resources to make tools to then be able to do things for ourselves. It's still very naturalistic. That is not something out of the ordinary. Again, we are not the first hominid species to use tools. So, again, I don't understand the confusion. Crack open an anthropology book or something. I don't know what to tell you.
Question 7. The Earth is in the solar system in the galaxy in the universe. What is the universe in?
We don't know. but that's not an atheism. This is a God of the gaps argument. We don't know what is beyond the universe because we literally can't see it, because the outer reaches of the universe have expanded past the speed of light, which is a whole other video in and of itself, but the edges of the universe have expanded past the speed of light to where we are never going to see. Like, we have a boundary of where we are going to be able to see, and that boundary keeps shrinking as the universe keeps expanding faster and faster. So we're never going to know what is outside the universe, but that doesn't then mean that you just automatically throw God in to fill in the gap. Again, that is literally the God of the gaps argument, and that's a huge logical fallacy. We can't answer this, therefore God did it. No, that's not how it works. We can't answer it because it's just, part of the laws of physics. But that's not really physics, but you know what I mean. Like, it's just part of the laws of nature. Like, we can't see past a certain point because it's going away from us faster than light, and that doesn't break the rules about the light barrier, by the way. Like, nothing can travel faster than light. The space that everything is in is expanding, and space is allowed to expand in a way that pushes objects away from you faster than light. Like, for example, if you're going, let's say you're going 55% the speed of light away or in one direction, and something else is going past you at 55% the speed of light in the other direction, your combined speeds are 110% the speed of light. So therefore, you're both going to be traveling away from each other at 110% the speed of light, meaning once you are past each other, you're never going to see each other again. That's just math. Like, that doesn't break the laws of physics. Like, that is perfectly capable of happening. So theoretically, if you had something traveling like 99.9 repeating the speed of light in one direction and 99.9 repeating the other direction, you're almost going to add up to 200% the speed of light. But that doesn't break physics because, again, math. Not that hard.
Question 6. Where did all the existing matter in existence come from?
So we're just going to ignore the Big Bang, apparently. Everything started out in that tiny singularity, and then when the Big Bang happened, we were just having, it was basically essentially just hydrogen atoms, and then, the universe got to a point where those hydrogen atoms were starting to be able to merge into helium, and then helium was, able to merge into other elements. I don't have the periodic table pulled up in front of me, but everything was hydrogen when it started off, and then it combined into other things to make bigger things that could then become these other things, and that's how things happen. Like, the matter was all contained in whatever the singularity was. We don't know what was in the singularity because obviously we can't see it. Like, there is not a physical wall, but there is a visual wall between us and the Big Bang. It's called the cosmic microwave background, and we literally have pictures of that, especially from the WMAP satellite, the Wilkinson Microwave Anisotropy Probe. It was launched in the late 90s, I believe, and we got those results in 2003. So we have had a broad picture of the cosmic microwave background for literally 20 years. And we can also measure the rate of universal expansion. So we know for a fact that the Big Bang happened, and we know everything was in that tiny singularity. That looks really bad on camera, but okay. But no, that's where all the matter was originally contained, was in this tiny singularity. Again, we don't know what it was because we can't see back that far, and it's almost impossible to measure, but we know for a fact it happened because we can measure the after effects of it. So that's already 3 different subjects we've had to we really need this guy to pick up a textbook on: anthropology, cosmology, physics, or even just a math book for some of these. Come on, man.
Question 5. What tells the amino acids to fire in a precise order in the perfect amounts to start the DNA chain?
DNA. Like there's four amino acids that make up the DNA chain. They can only be combined in a certain number of ways. And that also pretty much just boils down to math and basic logic. Like if the amino acids were firing on a chain that would eventually dead end at something not viable, then it just won't be viable. If you've got something that will be viable at the end of that DNA chain, then it will become viable and proliferate. If it won't, then it won't. That's just basic logic. It's not something telling it to do it. It's just doing it, and if it gets a positive result, then you get something out of it. If it gets a negative result, then you don't. There's nothing telling the DNA to do anything. DNA isn't... I don't want to say the word alive, because obviously it's part of living organisms, but it's not conscious. It doesn't have it doesn't have cognizance to... I just punched my microphone. It doesn't have cognizance to like make executive decisions. It's just like, I don't want to use the analogy of a computer code because it's a horrible example, but it's literally just got like a list of written instructions that it just follows. It's like, okay, if the next amino acid in this chain is X, then it does X thing. If it's Y, it does Y thing. If it does Z, it does Z thing. Like, there's no cognizance there. It just does. It's like how they treated the robots in Short Circuit. It's like, it doesn't think, it doesn't feel, it just runs programs. Again, crappy example because it's not a computer, but I don't know what to tell you. Next question.
Question 4. What gives DNA its precise instructions?
The order of amino acids. We just covered this in the last question. Next.
Question 3. Mathematically speaking, what are the odds that 90% of the world population who believe in a god or gods are under a mass delusion, but you are not?
Culture? Like, what even is this question? Like, and for one, it's not even 90%. It's more like 60% of the world's population is religious in some way, shape, or form. And a lot of it is just they were raised in it and haven't seen, anything strong enough to break them of, what their, particular religious beliefs are. Like, for example, I was raised Roman Catholic. I was a deeply devout, practicing Roman Catholic until I was about the age of 21. Like, I was steeped in it for a long time. I was very active in my church. I was an altar server. I was in choirs. I wanted to be a priest as a kid. And we see how that turned out. But, yeah, just because a majority of the world's population, and that is becoming a slimmer majority as the years progress, but just because the majority of the world's population have some kind of religious belief does not necessarily mean that it's right. Like, for example, for the longest time, we believed in a geocentric Earth. In fact, scientists were killed by the church, no less, because they dared to question the geocentric nature of what, the commonly accepted wisdom was at the time. We now know that our solar system is heliocentric. We orbit around the sun, and we're also just one of literally billions upon billions upon billions of other solar systems out there. Just because we think something at one point in time does not mean that we can't then change our minds. And when we get new data, we change to adapt to that data. That is how science works. Religion has not changed, especially Christianity, has not changed in literally 2,000 years. That's not okay. Like, things need to change with new data coming in. That is why there is now a growing number of the population that is atheistic. And it's just going to keep growing as the information age progresses, as we gain more knowledge, as we figure out how the universe works. Like, we've already got the Big Bang model, we've already got the heliocentric model of our solar system. These things will just continue to grow as we keep sending out probes and keep gathering more data. This is a stupid question, it really is.
Question 2. If, when people die, they cease to exist, yet science tells us that energy animates the body, and energy cannot be created or destroyed, and thus lives forever, how is it that we cease to exist in our grave?
You're using a false term of energy here. Energy is literally just the capacity of something to do work. Like, there is no, energy or force that courses through our bodies and animates us. We've just got a bunch of electrical signals that go through our body, through our nervous system, and animate the various parts of our body. Once that electrical signal dies off, it just gets radiated away from our body, and then our bodies decay. There isn't a they're technically right that this is I believe the second law of thermodynamics is matter cannot be created or destroyed, it just changes form. So the energy in our body, just changes form. It dissipates, it gets thrown out into the universe, and then our bodies start to decay, and that's another form of our matter just dissipating and changing form into the molecular level eventually, and we just kind of fade away into existence. It doesn't mean that there's a soul in our body that then goes to heaven or something, or just goes somewhere. The energy just dissipates. It doesn't necessarily go away entirely, but I don't know, this is a stupid question. These are all super stupid questions that if you just pick up a science book for 10 seconds you'd be able to figure these out. Come on. Last question.
And the number one question that atheists should be able to answer is, does life have a purpose?
No. If we're talking on a grand, overarching, design, then no, it doesn't. Life has whatever purpose that we assign to it. We have the cognizance to go out and do our own things. I've made my own decisions to get me where I am. It wasn't any kind of guiding force telling me where to go. I made my own purpose. Especially after I did become an atheist and realized, I've got control over my own life now. I don't have some divine entity telling me what it thinks I should be doing. I know what I want to do, and I'm going to go out and get it. And by God, did I do it. Life is whatever you want to make of it. It doesn't have to have some kind of purpose beyond you. If you just want to live life doing whatever the hell you want, within reason, of course. I'm not advocating for, anything that hurts other people or anything that's, damaging to society as a whole. Don't do that. But as long as you are doing whatever you want and not hurting anybody and not intruding on anybody else's lives, you do you, boo. There is no overarching purpose, and that's okay. I know that can be scary when you first realize it, but once you accept it and once you start living by it, that you can do whatever you want, it's incredibly freeing, and I wish more people could experience that. No matter how late in their lives they experience it. Life does not have a grand purpose. We're just here, and we only get the one life, so we might as well make the best of it. We might as well do the best for ourselves while we're here. And like I said, that's okay. I wonder if he continues anything here.
If the answer is no, then scientifically and definitively, atheism is an illogical argument. For life to have purpose, reason is required. Reason comes from intelligence. So you have to ask yourself, if life has no purpose, then your argument for atheism just doesn't work and it cannot be rationalized. If life has a purpose, then you must conclude that that purpose has a reason, and that reason comes from intelligence. So, does life have a purpose?
No, that's stupid. Let me go back to that again. What did he say?
Purpose. If the answer is no, then scientifically and definitively, atheism is an illogical argument. For life to have purpose, reason is required. Reason comes from intelligence.
So then how is atheism an illogical argument if life doesn't have a purpose? Because if you say purpose comes from reason, but then there is no purpose to life, then there's no reason for that purpose to come from. Therefore, atheism would make sense. That's a false dichotomy, for lack of better terminology. Like that just doesn't work. But anyway, okay, so those are 10 questions every atheist should be able to answer, which I feel like I did to the best of my abilities. If you have any objections to it, never mind, I was going to be snarky there, but don't mind me. I mean, please feel free, leave comments, like and subscribe. I will gladly entertain discussion in the comments in the comments section. I'm not going to entertain ad hominem if you're just going to call me like a loser or something like that, or I'm not going to entertain that. But if you've got like legitimate contradictions to this that I want to try to answer, go for it. Throw it in the comments. But that's going to be this video, I guess. I almost said episode, but this isn't a series, so, it's whatever. But that's going to be this video, so if you did enjoy it, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.